in-breath. Breathing out, come back to my out-breath. We might close our eyes so it doesn't wander around, and come back to our body. Become aware of our body. We look inward and we feel our breath. We feel our body rising and falling with each breath. We enjoy simply breathing. We know this is Thay's favorite thing to do, sitting and just breathing, being present for ourselves, taking care of ourselves with each breath. In, enjoying the in-breath. Out, enjoying the out-breath. Breathing in, I enjoy sitting. Thay enjoying sitting with us. His back so beautiful, his face relaxed, at ease with the sitting, no effort. Just simply sitting for sitting's sake. No need to grasp, expect, or want anything besides the present moment. Breathing out, I smile to Thay sitting beautifully. Thay sitting, smiling to Thay. Breathing in, I'm aware of my body. I relax my body, releasing any tension around the neck, the shoulder, my arms, my hands. With each out-breath, just relax, let go of the body. Allow gravity to hold us, our face, our forehead. With each out-breath, just let gravity pull our muscle. In, body out, releasing, relaxing body. Namo Shakyamuni Buddhaya. Dear respected Thay, dear beloved family, dear friends. Today is a legendary day, beautiful day. We've gathered to pay tribute to our teacher. And this whole week we've been open for our friends to come and visit and pay respect to our teacher. Some of us are his students. Some of us have come across Thay's teaching at a retreat, through a YouTube video or a book. Many pathways, like all streams coming and gathering. In the afternoon, lay friends would come up, even after lunch they come up and they come to the altar and they prostrate because they know we're open and they pay respect to our teacher. So it's a beautiful opportunity for us to honor the sacredness of being alive, of continuation. That's what's a gift about being human, that we have memory and we remember. And some of it is emotional when you recollect certain things. So today it's not really a Dharma talk, kind of like a Tâm Sự is kind of like a, how do you say that, confiding, like many people have been worried for the monks and nuns. At least they are sending me emails and everything. They say, how are you guys doing? They kind of are worried for us. Yeah, they're so lovely. A lot of OI and Dharma Teacher, they send me pictures of myself and Thay. And I cry because I can feel their love for not only Thay, but his student, his community, and the monastic. That's how Thay's love has transcended him. It's now through coming back, and so I've been receiving these emails with like pictures and things, and with all these little, these, what do you call this, icon or emojis or something. But you can feel the love that people have for, and they need to express it. And so this is, to this morning, I just want to share with you that the monks and nuns are doing okay, enough, as you can imagine. We would love to close the monastery and just like leave, and do our mourning and grieving and by ourselves. And can you imagine that? Deer Park closed. We need to grieve. You guys go home and do your thing. Can you imagine that in Vietnam if they did that? It would be a revolution, So the temple, this is nothing compared to Hue right now. it's thousands of people, yeah. So we're still very lucky. It's manageable. And the monks and nuns, we have been meeting and adjusting a lot of things, and yeah, some of us are still having to find time for us to process, yeah, because we still have to be open and to allow people to come and do their process, which is very important in our society, in our lives, to actually honor and pay tribute and to touch a kind of sacredness, the spiritual dimension. And that's what this place is for many of us. Many of us have been here on a retreat with Thay, and we can feel his love, not just in the Dharma talk, but the way he walk, the way he sit, the way he eat, everywhere he wants to go, he go where the Sangha is. And so his way of showing love is just sharing his body, his presence. And you can feel that, many people feel that. A few days ago, in the morning, we were finished with the morning service, and I walk out the door, and right over there, a man, very tall man, he waited for me to put on my shoe, and he bowed to me. And he was very, there's going to be a lot of that this morning, so be ready. At least I'm kind of humorous, so it'll be tears and laughter at the same time, which is possible, yeah? We can be sad, but we can be happy, we can be joy, and we can feel that. And it's so nice to be human, huh? But we don't let that overwhelm us. And he stood there and he joined his palm beautifully, and very American too. Like, he looked like beautiful. And he bowed to me and he said, "Please, can I share something with you? I need to share something with somebody." Because he was attending, but we did the ceremony. And he said, "I've been to one of Thay's retreat many, many years ago, and he changed my life. And I just had to come up here," and he wanted to express his gratitude that we allow people to come up here. Because he was at home watching the services and things on the YouTube, but he felt wanting to come up. And sit in the oak grove. He said, "Yeah, I wanted to sit where I sat next to Thay." There's a rock down there, and during a retreat, he got to sit next to Thay. And all he wanted to do was to come up and sit next to the rock. And he was so grateful that there's a place for that. So Thay is not just a cloud, he's a rock. He's a boulder down there. So I just wanted to tell you that. He made me laugh, but now I'm kind of laughing and crying. He said, "I just wanted to let you know that I'm so grateful that you're here and you're open and we can come up. Because I could not just sit at home by myself." And so he got the same healing that he got the first time. So that sharing has energized me. You see, Thay, through him, his sharing gave me a lot of energy. You see, Thay's love, it goes like that, and it comes back like that, through many, many people. So I've been walking around Deer Park with the awareness that every rock, every pathway, every pepper tree, there's our teacher. And every one of us who come up here, don't underestimate who they are and how deep their practice and touching Thay's love and going out to help others. So that awareness really gives me a lot of energy, to know that Thay's love is like endless. At home right now as well. People are online and writing all their, I've been reading some of the gratitude on Plum Village website. It's so moving. Some of the depth that some of Thay's students who've been to one retreat, who read one book, who've never even met Thay and sat next to him. This is the energy that we're talking about. The magic, the sacred, the legendary energy. And so this is our task, is not to feel that, we're losing something. That is natural for us to feel. When I touch the earth, it's very easy to cry. But it's a little tinge of sadness, but it's actually mostly I cry and I feel Thay's love. It's not a like sadness of like, oh, Thay is no longer with us. So it's a kind of different kind of crying. And it motivates me to continue Thay. So that tear of crying, it looks like, oh, I'm sad, I'm missing Thay, or I want to be have Thay forever. So it's a different kind of crying. It's not really mourning. It's actually a very empowering cry. And we need to know how to cry like that. And this is what Thay has taught me. He has prepared us, all the monks and nuns, all his students, lay friends all over the world. Now, we know how to cry now. How many of you cry when you come to retreats? Huh? Wonderful, you guys know how to cry. Good. It's so nice to cry. In our world, there isn't enough crying. We need to have a retreat where people know, we teach them how to cry. People are so afraid of crying. There's a way of crying that is not grasping, not regretful, not guilty. There's a cry that is very healing and liberating, in the sense that it allows you to access Thay's love. And it motivates you and it energizes us to do his work, continue his work. Which is not just like service activism. It's also just caring and loving ourselves. And whatever that path is for us that helped us become a better person, this is what we are continuing. Recently, I also had a chance to take care of my father in the last year. I wanted to share with you that every time I take him into the hospital, many times to the emergency hospital, because he has these tubes out, and he's very lazy, cứng đầu là sao? Like stubborn to listen to me to be careful, you know. He's like, "Kệ nó," and it's like, my dad very stubborn, and so every time I come out, I have to take him to the emergency hospital. So I was many times sitting with him in the emergency area. And I got to listen to so many healthcare workers, the nurses and doctors. And they have to deal with a lot of stuff right now in the last 2 years. Wow, I really feel for them. And a lot of them has nothing to do with medical. It's totally psychological. Some of the people coming there, it's, they just don't, felt the love. So the nurses and doctors are doing their best, but you can feel like they're overwhelmed. So in the last year or two, just like aware of how our society is, how it's structured, and that gave me a lot of energy as well to not only help the healthcare profession, but just people in general, what they're missing, this connection, this care. And one other thing that's helped me to have energy during this time of COVID and the last year and now with Thay is that, the monastery is a kind of like nhà thương, right? Vietnamese, I don't know Vietnamese very well, but I just love the word nhà thương. Because thương, right? It means you get injured, or actually it's the same word for love. It's weird, huh? Đúng không? Did I spell it right? Okay. Yeah, I don't know why that is, but I like it. I never researched or asked anybody about it. But the hospital is called nhà thương. And thương means you're injured and you need love. Isn't that great? Yeah, and the doctors and nurses, they had no choice. I asked the nurse, I was like, God, what keep you going? I was like, look, they have no other choice. What can, I have to be here. Many of my colleagues are sick. But if I leave and quit, who's going to take care of them? This is a nurse, huh? I mean, she said it not like some heroic thing, it's her job. Yeah, I just feel that. And that's been helping me kind of reframe like the monastery or the sacred land here. And it is a blessing that we have this place. That it's been kept like this intact enough. The native people still have places here, rocks with holes, and you can feel some energy here that's still very pristine. So the nature here is quite healing. So in a way, this is a place for healing, for finding love as well. And so I think this is our responsibility to maintain this place so that people can have a refuge. So for me, that has given me a lot of energy on Thay's aspiration. So here we were lucky because we have a group of us, monastic, and we also nourish each other with the Dharma, right? The practice of healing ourselves. And so the doctors and nurses, unfortunately, they don't have that way of reviving, charging. So this is something for those of you who are like out there, who are in that position or have that possibility. I just wanted to send that out there for you to help some of the healthcare profession right now, because there's a lot they have to do right now because of the situation. And that's all very connected to what's happening in society. And that our society is like organized, and it's very easy for us to be injured mentally, psychically, right? You know, sometimes I go visit my mom and my family up in Los Angeles, and I have to drive the freeway. I have to be very careful, because just driving on the freeway, it can like stir a lot of stuff up. People, you know, the way they behave in the freeway. And so just that in itself, you know, can people get injured? They get angry, they get irritated, or the environment is quite lonely. You go in the crowd, and it's like you're strange if you like make eye contact and you smile. People like, you know. So you're constantly getting messages to just like mind your own business and be yourself, right? And you get injured like that. You feel lonely, you feel alienated, you feel... So in a way, living in the way society is set up, we do get injured. And we need to find place to heal. And this is what's happening right now, not just in America, but everywhere. The technology, the way we've structured our lives, work, and so on, it's inhuman. And this is, we just want to see our place and what we can offer. I remember when Deer Park was first established, I said, Thay, like America, the West Coast, very lucky to have a center like this. This is, you know, more and more I see, you know, how true it is, and what I've witnessed, people coming up here and what they need to find. Up in the dining hall, you know, the outside the dining hall, there's a hill that looks over across the valley. I've seen many people just sit there in the chair looking into the valley, and I look at their face. I like to sit behind the bush, and I like to watch them. Yeah, it's my nourishment. The monks, the nuns, we get nourished by people transforming. You know, we eat that. Nuôi dưỡng, it nó nuôi mình. I eat your transformation, your liberation, your happiness. So if you're a practitioner, you can look around. You see, someone transform, you're like, wow. You get nourished, meaning you eat that. Isn't it amazing? And you have to find good food. And when you sit there and you see his face, and he's contemplating, and his face is very still, and his food is getting cold. He's supposed to eat lunch. The whole time he's not eating lunch. Something's happening. You see, it's not a Dharma talk. That is so beautiful. And this is, I've seen it over and over again in many, many places in this land. The people come, they've touched the practice, and they know what to do. And you can see the face change. So this is the beautiful thing Thay has taught us, the practice to take care of ourselves, take care of our emotion. It's just an emotion. And so this is how we can continue Thay's legacy with our practice. And I think we're hearing this all over, how to continue Thay, right? So each one of us, we came to the practice, to the community, by something. Something happened. I would say most of the time, 95 maybe, % of the time is through suffering. Yeah? Like we really, it hit something. A few of the monks I know came because it was fun. I was like, I didn't want to become a monk, I just like to play soccer. And slowly they're like, they get, what do you call it, cross-pollination, But many of us have found the path through a particular doorway that helped us see a better way to be in the world, a different direction. And this is, it's hard to maintain on our own. And this is what Thay has been transmitting to us, the Sangha body. They have the Buddha body and the Dharma body. But this is something that Thay has really, in his whole life, to really hone down, is the community aspect. And that without a community, we will be overloaded, and it would be very difficult. I think in Vietnamese, I think they always say, ăn cơm phải có canh or something, right? Tu hành phải có bàn, and Thay has so many things that in the Vietnamese culture that he's translated into Western practice. And this is one thing I cherish about our teacher. He's taking most of the beautiful things of the Vietnamese culture and bringing it to the West for our time. Like community, America or Europe, we had community too, but we've kind of lost that. We've become very individualistic and very, what is it? Worry for your own fence. Don't worry for, what is it? Something about the fence. I forget the phrase. Mind something on your own fence. Yeah. Anyway, it's a kind of stay over there. Don't say hi to me when you're backing out of your garage. Just go to work. And so Thay is taking the, all that spirit, and we call that like the village spirit, like a lang, lang yin, all these kind of things he grew up with. It's like very old school. Thay is like from, he's like, things are like from the old time, but very precious. So he's kept a lot of that. And we're learning to translate more. A lot of it is in Vietnamese, and slowly we will translate some of those teaching. There's a group of monastics working to make those available. But mainly the spirit of the village and bringing that and merging. So it's not just a Buddhist tradition. It is a tradition very imbued with the Vietnamese culture, or actually the human culture, but the very particular flavor of Vietnamese, like a lot of pho in it, a lot of fried rice, a lot of bánh ít, bánh lọc, a lot of bánh lọc, a lot of banana wrap stuff. So our practice is wrapped in banana leaves. Yeah, the more you stick around, you'll find out the Sangha is organized like that. You take care of each other like they are your uncles and aunties, like your nephew and nieces. This is how we treat each other in the Sangha, in the community. The monks and nuns, we call each other brothers and sisters, like she an, she am. So there's a lot of that kind of culture in our tradition. And it's very beautiful. This is, we are very lucky to have come across a person who can actually translate all this stuff to modern times. Not only the Buddhist practice of stopping, present moment, and all the practical stuff, but it has a cultural aspect that's healing the human kind of like sickness, right? well, the loneliness, the alienation, the anger, the resentment. So we've learned ways to transform that through the community. And this is what's wonderful about the Sangha. And I want to emphasize this because I have a feeling this is what Thay would share. In moments like this, Thay would, many of us want to like just do the morning, the ceremony and Thay's transition, but I have a feeling Thay would say, get on with your business, go take care of the Sangha. I have a feeling Thay would say that. And that's why the monks and nuns said, we got to have a Dharma talk. Because many are friends, they've never met Thay. And they just want to learn how to practice so they can just take care of their emotion. Or like to go home later and speak differently to their people in their house. So this is, we feel, when Thay first got sick, it was really, and he was in France. He was in his hut, still sitting hut in Upper Hamlet, in his bed. And that time he didn't go to the hospital where he had the hemorrhage yet. He was just sick from a different kind of weakness. Like his energy level went really down. He couldn't eat. And so that was before we took him in the hospital. And so he was able to still communicate. And many monks and nuns from all over the world came to, visit Thay. And I remember hearing many of them came into the hut, they do the touching, and Thay would tell them, go home. Yeah, this is the report like from the attendant. It's like Thay doesn't want you to stay there. He told one sister. She told me she's one of my close sisters. She said Thay just wants me to go home, not to hang around here. Go back to Thailand right away. Thay doesn't need you to be here. He needs you to go back and take care of the community. Isn't it amazing? Thay doesn't. Of course, but as students, we want to do this and that. But as a teacher, he doesn't want you, he wants you to spend your energy in taking care of the community, because that is our teacher as well. So you can see the teaching, his deepest wish. So please remember that. And wherever we're at and whatever we're doing. I know another teaching that Thay taught, someone shared to Thay one time, said, I had a dream of you, Thay, and you were in my dream and you helped carry me, and I woke up and I got, you were so beautiful in the dream and so on. And I woke up and I felt so, I'm no longer sick. And it was like really beautiful sharing. And I'll never forget this. I said, you should go home and look at your practice. This is not correct practice. And I was like, whoa. He said, I don't want to say, I don't want to identify who it is. How do I say? He said, Thầy nói tiếng Việt đó, nói, tôi trật rồi đó, đi về tôi tiếp đi. Oh, I was very strong medicine. You would expect that, like, wow, someone is like, loving Thay, but it has a lot of, too much vướng mắc is too much attachment. Yeah? We think it's like, Thay would appreciate this, and oh my God, I've never seen, that was bitter medicine. And this is something, these little things are in my heart right now, and I hope I'm not offending anybody, because I'm sharing with you what's going on with me right now in terms of my process and what I'm being energized by. Of course, I also break down. I broke down this morning during walking meditation. And it's just human beings, we have memories. And because of the memories, it allows you to access love. You know, isn't that beautiful? What is love? Is memory, is made of memory. What is meaning? Is when you recollect. So I was walking behind Brother Min An, and the way he stepped, I really felt Thay. And how many times have I walked next to Thay, attending him? And how many times he walked with us, leading the community. You know, his love is so, I mean, like, it'd be 1,000 people with him down that hill, right? You know, in that moment, you can feel Thay's like immense love in my brother. It's not, you know, easy, you know. So yeah, and then, you know, that recollection, boom, and I broke out, oof. I was like walking and I was trying to pay attention and I'm practicing to allow that to happen naturally. And not to hold it, but to allow, to feel Thay's love, and it needs to go through, and don't hold it. And this is very important in healing. Our society, the way we've you know, framed suffering and sadness is incorrect. It's good to suffer. If we know how to suffer, remember Thay's last teaching. And this is more in therapy, they're realizing as well. That we have trauma and so on is because we don't allow the energy to flow. We're afraid to have convulsion and, like, you know, shake. No, you should allow that to shake and let it through and have the process. So don't try to, like, how do you say, get your act together, right? They have these phrases in our culture that's so harming. Like, keep it together, you know? And it's like very harsh. I don't know, there's a lot of phrases, but I've been away for so long from that I forget. But it's like, don't break down. This is not the time. How is it? Yeah, you hear it at work too. It's like, this is not the time for that. So in our culture, there's no place for sadness, no place for suffering. But Deer Park, this is a good place. If you want to suffer, this is a good place to suffer. This is the best place to suffer. Thay has taught us there's a way to suffer. We have the right to suffer, to grieve, to be sad, but we also must remember we have a right to practice. Well, Thay said it more strong. He said, you do not have the right to not practice. But I'll be gentle. But sometimes we're like so tired, we don't even want to practice. And that's why we need the community. Yeah, sometimes that has happened to me as well. So we have the right to, it is our human right. That should be written in the declaration, what is it? The there's a UN Declaration of Human Rights. They should add in, we have the right to suffer when we know how to take care of it. Huh? So we all need to learn how to suffer. That is the deepest teaching I got from Thay. Because I run as a young man away from my suffering. A lot, I run a lot from that. And when we lose someone, we have the right. But remember that we also are practitioners now. So please do not be attached. but to be liberated, to allow the flow of the love that our teacher, the love of our loved ones, to flow through us. My father, he loved us in his own way. And so I'm allowing that to happen. I've been nourishing that. My father recently passed as well. And he likes to give me money, He's like every time I come home visit, he thinks that monks, we should get donation. So every time I come home, they always say, "Do you need money?" And here's 100, right? And I was like, okay, I take his 100. Yeah. And then later, my sister found out, because my sister would give him money. And it's like, he give you the money? And I go, yeah, I give him the money. And I was like, well, it's all the same, right? So it's really, my dad has a way to share his love. So please, now that you know the teaching and the practice, please look like that. Everyone is doing their best. We might be resentful of someone right now, but they are doing their best. And they don't know how. They have not learned the practice. And if you look deeply, you can see that they also are trying somehow to break out of that. Nobody wants to be angry, to be mean. It's just they don't know how. But as practitioners now, we need to use our deeper eye, the third eye, to see beyond them. See that they are suffering and they don't have anyone to help. And they are also trying to break out of that. It's a kind of suffering to actually be disgruntled and not a nice person, right? It's a kind of suffering. You have to hold a lot. But once in a while, if you look, you see they try to come out of it. Even a simple one. You want me to do your dishes? Yeah, please do it. Yeah. So even the ones who are have fire energy, if we are careful and we're skillful, we can also see that they have a way to express their connection, their love. And this is one thing I learned from our teacher, to look like that, at every one of us, even the ones that cause us a lot of suffering. They also have a diamond in them. So that this moment I share this because this is what Thay's deepest wish for all of us. When you want to continue Thay, of course, the walking meditation, the sitting meditation, the breathing meditation, these things. The deepest one is for you to reconcile with yourself, with anyone Thay's birthday, I always say, just write me a letter and tell me how you are transforming. Thay doesn't want anything else. You see the love of Thay? He wants us all to not hold tightness in us, whether that's towards ourselves, our judgment, our resentment to others. And this is, I just want to share that for all of us to take care of ourselves, do what you need to do. It's not easy work, we know that, especially if you are living and you don't have a sangha, a support, you have good friends. So please, do your best to build and come together and have good friends, because we will need each other, especially the times coming. They will be very challenging for our society. So we need more bodhisattvas, and you guys are we're all continuing Thay's love, depending on the scope that we can affect things. And we need to band and make a team so we can rotate. The secret in the monastery is all the schedule and the rotation. We take turns doing things. So when it's not my turn, I get to be lazy, and then I'm up here. Next week is a sister, and sometimes I'm doing good, my energy is positive. Next week, and we rotate. The secret, because we are not always spring and summer blooming, and like we're also winter, and we're sometimes very autumn, right? And that's beautiful. That's the secret to organize our lives, to allow the season to be in us. So sometimes we need to be sad, but we also can practice with it. So learn how to be sad. And that's beautiful. That's like amazing to be, but you don't get overwhelmed by it, you see? Same thing with anger, same thing with jealousy, judgment. These are all just emotions. And so nothing can last, even our emotion. So this is I have a feeling Thay would share for us that. So don't miss out on that. Thay would be sharing with us to do our best wherever we're at, and to come together, find community, find Dharma friends. Maybe we listen to one sound of the bell. These last few years that Thay has been sick, and in this last week or two, I've been very grateful to our teacher and how he is kind of like showing the whole process. You know, we know when he was 16 he became a monk and so on, the war in Vietnam, and then engaged Buddhism. And now this last segment where there's sickness, old age, and transitioning on is so beautiful that Thay is teaching us that. Because in our society we don't experience and see that until it's too late. I think this is probably the first time ever that someone of our teacher's stature, like the images like are online for the whole entire world to see. I mean, I was like watching it and going through process and emotion and so on, but just feeling so grateful. I was receiving it like a teaching. So this is a way of also practicing during this time. to experience what's going through with Thay's body as a teaching. And so this other story that we as human beings, funeral, and then you lose somebody, they're no longer with us, is an old way of looking. I think now with the practice, we can also recognize the transference, the continuation of Thay in that process. So in the last 6 or so years, Thay has been there, but he hasn't been able to teach, to be out physically, at least, in touring. So the monks and nuns, we've been having to do that part. So in a way, Thay is like teaching us to actually do that. What is there for Thay left to do, right? And I've been receiving that. And then in the last week, one more teaching of our teacher. And I think our society, sometimes we forget that aspect. We kind of, the place where we did cremation for my father, it looks like a warehouse. It's a functional, hygiene oriented, it's a policy. It's like business. They're like offices and desks, and you go in. It's like, God, this is, we gotta reorganize this. I don't know if I'm ever in that position, but boy, I would reorganize it. Reorganize it as if it's like throwing away trash. It's like very cold. But luckily I was there with all my brothers and sisters, and we were able to hold and make it a sacred moment for all the living, my nieces and nephew, and for them to witness that with the Sangha embrace, for them to cry, to fear, because it's like that's what will make us live more when we remember this aspect of life. The impermanence can really infuse you, like make you tingle, like I'm tingling now. But we don't get exposed to it, so when it happens, we are like earthquake or like a volcano. Yeah? So this is a way that I've been taught by our teacher to constantly reflect this. So in the last year, in the process now, please use your breathing and remember to allow flow. And take care of the feeling of fear it's a very primal fear of death, or seeing dead body, or the whole process. But it's very beautiful. It is also a very sacred part of our being human that we need to honor. And we need to look. People say, why are you guys putting this stuff online? It's like, you kidding me? You want to hide this aspect? Of course, people don't have community because they were triggered and so on. But actually, this is forgetfulness, and we want to live and be protected from that. And this is not very, I don't think is very real. It's like Santa Claus, yeah? So this for me is very empowering if we know how to practice during these times. So it fuels us, it makes us live more without awareness. When we forget that aspect, then we're actually very complacent. You understand how you get infused with this? How it makes every day a miracle? How you drive on the freeway and you get home safely is a miracle. But we're forgetful. It's like, oh, it's just the 405. I'm in traffic, God, you know. It's like, I'm safe. I'm 3 hours late, but I'm safe. I mean, it's because we forget how dangerous it is to drive on the freeway. So remember impermanence and how to look at it and to use this process. Mourn, be sad, do whatever you need to do, and allow that energy to flow. Each one of us will process it differently. And this is the power of the practice, the breathing. And the secret, for me at least, is in the out-breath. Because the out-breath is the letting go, and it will be your last. My dad, and he didn't take another in-breath. Very peaceful. The nurse came in and was like, how come his breathing is so light? And we're like, oh, he's gone. You know, he's just like, press the button, and like a whole people came in, climb on him, and like, no, get off, he's fine. And I had to prove to them that that we don't want him to be resuscitated. There's so much fear, and there's so much wanting to him to come back, you know, to be in tubes and so on. I was like, no, he's fine. And the doctor looked at me and was like, who are you? I'm his son. And I was like, okay. And then I showed them the stuff, and they all disappeared. It was an incredible experience. The intensity, the trauma, the fear, and the wanting to like grasp at the very last drop of life. I was like, no, he's going peacefully. And the nurse, like really, I think she got it. She came back and she, said her. So please practice and come back to your breath and the out breath, especially when the emotion come up and you can't control it, is good. Don't try to control it, okay? That's the wrong way to process it. Okay, when you shake, it's good. Don't try to not shake. I'm sharing with you because it's been doing that a lot lately through my body. And that's the your consciousness, your energy. And that's how you receive Thay's love. Do you see the transference? Thay's love, it's not through a picture or you have to go to Hue to get it. It's available right now, if you know how. And so this is the power of the Dharma. You don't get caught by, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to be close to Thay, you have to go fly to Hue. You know, these are, there's a tendency to go near. You want to climb in, be next to, but it's not for sure you will be close to Thay. So this is a beautiful thing that Thay has taught us, to not be caught by the signs, to transcend that through our practice when we breathe. So please find your favorite practice, something you love to do, that you learned after you met Thay. And if you don't have one, find one that Thay liked. He loved drinking tea. If you like drinking tea, you can replace it with coffee if you like. Thay loved to do walking meditation. He loved eating meditation. He loved being with the community. He loved nature. He loved plants. He loved poetry. He loved music. He loved sitting on a hammock. I do that. I go on a hammock now, and I let Thay flow in the hammock with me. He liked to climb the mountain. So Thay loved his life, and he loved his community, and he loved being with the Sangha. Everywhere there's a collection, Thay would go there. Even when he was sick, he wanted to come out I was giving a Dharma talk at Upper Hamlet, and Thay came in, and I was like, Thay wanted to be, and then we sang song with Thay. So this is, even in his last drop, he was still radiating love to us. You see this very special human being, and showing us how to live. So this is, and remember that crying can happen at the same time as smiling. So I've been doing that a lot. You cry, but please smile. It's amazing. And it's the same thing with feeling suffering. Sadness, you feel it, and then you feel grateful, and you feel you're in touch with Thay's love. So you're sad, and you're also grateful. So I hold it like that. That's what's beautiful. The no mud, no lotus, you have to use that right now. So this is what I'm practicing in these last week and couple of years. And this is part of human process. And we're so lucky that we had our teacher to teach us how to be human and how to suffer, but also how to touch the wonder, the sacred. You see that? The man in the oak grove sitting next to a rock by himself, and he found healing. That is nothing less than sacred, because he knew how to breathe. I bet you he knew how to breathe. So I don't know what rock it is, but I know the rock I like to sit next to. So find a sacred place, and at home do the same. There's a lot about forming a altar. That's a place of sacredness, of magic, of wonder, of spiritual family connection. With the young people, I say kind of like a spiritual bank. You invest in it. Every time you touch the earth and you light incense, you're connecting with your ancestor, connecting to Thay. So if those of you, a breathing room, so find, because that's an element we're lacking in our society. And that's the role of monasteries and temples and so on. But not just the religious part, is the practice part. So make a place in your home, a corner, a room, outside in the garden. Make it sacred for you to touch magic. Put a boulder there. Make it so that you can touch peace, to touch Thay's love every time you go there. And same thing with your loved one. You plant a tree, you make a flower bed, you make a koi pond, whatever your loved one loves, make that. And then you now practice, you do what they love, your loved one. My dad loves to fix things. He likes to repair things. I'm doing that now. And I nourish him, his life in me. You see the transfer, the transmission, the continuation is very real. It is not imaginary. And with the practice, we can do that for our teacher, for our loved ones, for our father, our mother. So this is something we wanted to offer a little bit for our friends to practice and continue. And when you are a little bit overwhelmed, hết si quách là you are out of battery. Yeah? I don't know what si what is, but you can come up here and charge. Yeah, you can walk where Thay walk, and that's why we're so lucky. Yeah, I feel grateful. And our friends have come up this last week to cook so that the monks and nuns can do our process. And you can feel their love. The Vietnamese, They want to show their love in the kitchen. They've been offering all kinds of food to us. So this is very, but there's other ways. You can come up and help Nikolai fix something. So it's a new transmission that we are not just a Vietnamese temple, but now we're bigger than that. So thank you for your practice, for your love for our teacher, and for your continued practice. And Thay is very happy. He's not regretting any moment, because he knows that we are here for each other, and we have a path. When this, we have our friends, our sangha. So this is, we're very fortunate. So please do what we need to do so that we can vibrate for the others, right? In society, we're definitely going to need it, right? So please continue, Thay, in that spirit, always serving the world. His whole entire life is to help the world. Every moment, every Dharma talk. It's incredible, huh? Your life is for others. That is really nourishing me right now, more than ever, to pay tribute to that. Our life is not to satisfy our needs and our comforts and then just, have a good life, but there are interbeing connection. This is the power of Thay's life, his message, our life of service. So thank you for being here and for your practice.